Welcome to Luxon Photography and welcome to a camera review. We live in a digital age where everything and all images are always on the screen, on the monitor, on the computer, on the phone. And when we take images, we can take 100 images or 1,000 images. And this is the world we live in, the digital age. Now, photography has a very different start. In the last decades, or even in the last 100 years, photography was very different. People did not shoot digitally with the computer and SD cards, they shot on film. So this camera review, this video is about the Canon AE-1. This is an analog film camera and I want to give you my experience with it. I usually shoot digital always and had very little touch with analog photography, but when I did dive into it, I really enjoyed it, and this is now my experience taking pictures with the Canon AE1. Now, one question is, why would you want that? When you do have cameras that are very professional, that are great quality, you have all the lenses, taking one image doesn't cost anything because it's all on an SD card. I can take 10,000 images a day with all the SD cards that I have, and I don't have to pay anything to create it. With this camera, I have to load film into the camera and then I have 24 or 36 images to take. The film costs money, to develop the film costs money. If I want the image on my computer, I have to scan the image, which also costs money, and it all costs time. So why would you want that? Well, for me, as I photographed a lot over the last 5 years, I wanted to experience photography differently. There are some digital cameras that give me that, like the Leica M10D, a digital camera without autofocus and without screen, or like the Hasselblad X1D, a medium format camera. Now, this is in the digital area, which is a different art of photography. Another way to experience photography in a different way is to take a look at film photography, analog photography, and the used market is full of old beautiful cameras. And before we dive into this beauty, the Canon AE1, let me talk about two other cameras, analog cameras that I have, to give you an introduction of what this means to me. So, one way to take pictures, or one way to go into analog photography, is to go with the all manual, all mechanical cameras like this. This is a Pentagon Six medium format camera. It does not have any battery, there is no light meter, and the images can be very beautiful, but it also can be frustrating to focus looking through here and to focus with the big negative, to focus at f2.8. It is very difficult to catch the focus if you are not trained with it. If you use it for the first time, I did miss many images just because of the focus. Plus, there is no light meter, so I have to use an external light meter or guess the settings to use. And to me, this camera was not so... It's a beautiful thing. It looks nice, but it's not practical. It's a lot of frustration when using it, because it's so slow. You have to be so careful with what you do, and you have to know the camera and how to use it. And when you start with it, it's a lot of frustration from my experience. Now, this is the one end of analog photography. Difficult to use, craftsmanship, you have to know what to do, then you get incredible images. If not, you can be lucky or not. On the other end of analog photography is something like this. This is the Canon EOS 650. This is like a Canon digital camera, but with film. So I can use all my lenses I have for Canon, can put them on here. Every lens I have from the EF mount I can use on this camera, and I have the film back. So this is analog photography. But for me, what I found, there is too much automation in this camera, and it feels not like an analog camera, it more feels like a digital camera. It's too easy to use. You have the autofocus, you have the light metering, you have, when you take a picture, it automatically moves the film forward, and it feels more like a digital camera from the beginning. So it doesn't feel to me like analog photography. It's too simple to use. And I want to earn an image. I want to deserve an image. And this is not the camera that gave me that emotion. Now between these two cameras, very easy to use, too easy, very difficult to use, too difficult. Between these two cameras, I find the Canon AE1. You have all the mechanical stuff. You have to focus manually. So I have to see is what I see now in focus. Then I see when I look through, I see the metering. So it tells me what aperture I should use. And then I take the picture. When I take the picture, I have to wind it here to take the next image. And it's a really beautiful, it's small, it's lightweight, it's all mechanical, it's great quality. It's a 50mm f1.8 lens. Very often that's the standard lens you get. No zoom lens, a beautiful prime lens with great image quality, f1.8, very good in low light. And to me, this is the best of both worlds. Now, there are many analog cameras out there, and often when you don't know about analog photography, you don't know what you're getting. And I bought some analog cameras. Some were too difficult to use, some were too easy to use. And this is right in between. This is what I was looking for. It is like a new toy for a kid that likes photography. And it's a very different approach to photography because it's so limited. You have only 24 images or 63 images, and then that's it. And I took this camera to Spain for about 10 days, and I shot one film a day, and that's it. I only had 36 or 24 images for one day, and that was the limitation. That was the framework that I could shoot in. And with digital photography, you don't have a limitation. As long as you have an SD card, and I have some maybe 800 gigabyte of SD cards, so I can shoot 10,000s of images without any limitation, without any cost, and just that I can do that gives every image I take less value. With the limitation, every image becomes important. So when I have 24 images for one day, I don't shoot 24 images in the morning. I'm very careful about what I photograph. And now I talked a lot, and now let's just take a look at some of the images. Now we are in Spain. This is where my girlfriend comes from. We're with a family. And here are some images straight from the camera, unedited, the scan from the film. And here are some images that I really like, that I think look beautiful. And here is Anna in front of the door with the green dress. And these images turn out really nice. Then there were some images that I found too cool. They were too cold. We were in the sun, in Spain, it's sunny, so I want warm colors. And here with the horse, it's too cold, it's too blue, it's not the right atmosphere that I want. Now you cannot select any colors, you select the color by choosing your film. There are films like the Portra 160 that is very famous for nice skin color. There are some black and white films, so you choose the color and the look of the image by choosing your film. And when you have the film in the camera, all images have that look of the film. So some images turned out very nice with the color, some too cold. Most of them were neutral, which means they were not too cold and not too warm. And I like it warm. So what I did, I had all the images as a scan, so I had all the files on my computer. I went into Lightroom and edited them very quickly. And here are now the images edited. And I think, now consider, the camera costs 50 euros to 100 euros, depending on the condition, with the lens. And this is a camera that was released, I think, in the 70s. So now we are going to 2020, so it's 50 years of existence. And this is what you can get with the camera this cheap and this old. These are the images, and I think it's really beautiful. And now when you think about analog photography, you might think of limitations as, can I shoot indoors? Isn't it too dark? And here are some images I took inside, and it all worked out fine. It's not blurry. And I had much joy to use this camera. Now the thing that I love about it, and that's different from digital photography, is the limitation. So you have to focus on the limit that you only can take 24 images with one film. Then you have to change the film and you know, finish that film. It's a finish line. And when you say one film a day, every image you take is important, and you don't take 3 or 4 images of the same scene. You only take 1 or maybe 2, mostly 1. And you also miss. You know, it's accepting failure when you go into analog photography, because sometimes when I photograph my kid, sometimes I'm just getting the focus, wanting to take the picture, and he's looking away. And then I think, I missed it. Most of the shots are on point, focus is right, not always, but most of the time. People, the eyes and the face looks good, nearly always. Sometimes people look to the side in the moment I put the shutter, but mostly they were on point. The price is really nice, although you have to be careful with the price, because it only costs 50 to 100 euros, and eBay is full of it. But every film you shoot costs money. A film like this costs about 5 euros, 6 euros, just the film. Then to develop it costs again. To print it costs again. To get it as a scan, so you can use the files for your social media, put it on Facebook, edit it again like I did. To scan it costs again. So I took 10 films in Spain and cost me maybe 300 euros. The films, the development, the scan, 300. And you have to think about it when you buy this camera. It only costs 50 to 100 euros, but the cost with every image, the cost is there. With a digital camera, it's not. You can buy one digital camera and shoot for free without having to pay anything, as long as you have SD card, lens and battery. So it's a different approach. And it calms you down, it slows you down. Photography becomes an adventure again, and you have to earn the image. It's not always coming easy to you. When your child is running around, you want an image of that, you have to earn it and use your craftsmanship, your hands to actually create that image. There is no automation really that helps you. Autofocus, face detection, auto white balance, auto metering, none of that. You have to earn the image, and that's a great approach to photography. When you look at an image and you know, I earned it. I was on point, I got the focus right, the settings were correct, and I did boom. And this is a very different kind of photography. Now, I do not use this camera professionally, I only do it for fun, and that's what this is about. Make photography fun again, get the seriousness out of it, and enjoy it like a kid. Be a kid again, who got a new toy like Christmas and who's so excited to go out and play with it. That's what this is for me. And let me see what else I got here. So the price is cool, the retro design, the great quality. It's a new experience about photography. Everything is manually. You learn photography again. The limits. Yeah, I think that was it. So at the end of it, let me show you some more images that I took. These are edited in Lightroom, but very quickly. So thank you very much.